Hello students, welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanandri Vidyapeeth for the students of standard 8th. Nice to see you in today's English grammar lecture for semester 1. In the last lecture, we understood about the 15 different uses of the definite article the. We read from our text, The Fun with Grammar. Now it is time to look into the second thing about definite article, that is the omission of the definite articles. So earlier, having learned about where to use the definite article the, it is now important for us to understand where not to use the definite article the definitely. Well, before we look into our text and read from the text about the omission of the articles given to us on page number 4, 5 and 6 respectively, and perform the exercises, it is important for us to recapitulate the concept about how to use or where to use the definite article the. So it will be easy for us to differentiate where to use and where not to use. So have a look at your screen, the image being displayed to you about definite article. The is used before a definite noun when we want to make it particular. So when we want to particularize, specialize something, we use the definite article. That's the most basic and the most common thing that one should remember. Example has been given to you to understand better. The butterfly which flew into the room was pink. So what are we saying in this? This sentence can be written, a butterfly which flew into the room was pink. Then we are not talking about a particular butterfly, but we want to say the one which came into my room, that special butterfly about which I am giving the description was pink. Therefore, it is required for me, it is necessary for me to use the article the. Therefore, the sentence stands correct. The butterfly which flew into the room was pink. The can be used with countables, cars, books and any other countable noun, and with uncountables, that is information, something that is informative or an uncountable thing, we can use the article the. Unlike the indefinite articles a and an, where we could not use it, isn't it? That is what we understood, that with the indefinite article a and an, we cannot use the indefinite article a and an with the uncountables, but we can use it only with countables, and that too singular countables. So here you can see the can be used with countables. It could be plurals also, unlike the indefinite articles. If the noun is singular, if the noun is plurals, in both the places we can use the article the. It can also be used with singular countables and plural countable nouns. An adjective, when it represents a class or is used as a noun, so something that is used to represent a class of thing, a whole community of thing, that is the place where you use the article the. The rich should help the poor. Now here the word rich and poor is being used as a whole class of rich people and the whole class of poor people. Therefore, all the people who are rich should help all the people who are poor. Example, the rich, the poor and the lucky. Third one, a common noun to represent a whole class. So, a common noun which represents the whole class. Well, do not get confused with this class and the other class. The previous one was an adjective. So, we learned about this in our text also. The word rich, which is actually a adjective used as a noun over here. But in the third thing, we use a common noun that is representing the whole class. Well, the tiger is a cruel animal. So here we don't mean to say just one tiger that you or I see in a zoo or in a forest or in a wildlife. No, we mean to say the entire community of tigers, all the tigers that you and I see. So the tiger as a whole class, as a whole community, is a cruel animal, cruel by nature. The fox is a cunning animal. So I've used the article the before the word tiger and before the word fox. Both of these words are common nouns. But why have we used? Because it is representing a whole class, the entire community of tigers and foxes. Next one, an adjective when it shows a quality. So when an adjective is representing a quality, we use the article the before it. The beauty of the flowers is amazing. So here the word beauty is an adjective describing the flower. But what kind of an adjective it is? It is a adjective of quality, a qualitative adjective. We learnt about the different kinds of adjectives, isn't it? Adjective of quality, adjective of number. So when we use adjective of quality, we will have to use the article the before it. As you can see in the example, the beauty of the flowers is amazing. Next use of the article the is superlative adjective or superlative degrees. Whenever you use a superlative degree or a superlative adjective, we make use of the article the without fail. It is the smallest bird in the zoo. So we are using smallest word for the bird, for the noun bird. So smallest word. So I cannot simply say it is smallest bird. No, I have to use. It is necessary, compulsory, mandatory to use the article the over here. It is the smallest word because the word smallest is a superlative degree adjective showing the highest degree of adjective. A noun to show a unit of measure. So when you are going to show a unit of measure, that is numerals, we learnt about it. Eggs are sold by the dozen. Milk is sold by the liter. So the word the dozen and the liter shows measuring units, isn't it? We measure eggs with help of pieces, number of pieces. Dozen means 12 pieces or any such things that you want to measure with pieces. Say dozen, gross, a score and so on. Milk is sold by the liter. Petrol is sold by the liter. Well, so the dozen, the liter is the usage of the article the appropriately. Directions and common nouns that are unique. So when you're talking about some unique directions, something that is just one of its kind, there is no second of it. The east, the west, the earth, the moon, the planet. Something that is just one by itself and not a second of it. So directions and common nouns that are unique utilize the definite article the before them. Next one, certain common nouns. So when you talk about certain common nouns, when you make use of certain common nouns in your writing speech, it is inevitable, it is compulsory to use the article the before them. Like the word cinema, temple, theatre, we make use of the article the without fail. The cinema, the temple and the theatre. I often go to the theatre with my family. So I must write the word the before the word theatre. I visit the temple every Saturday or whenever you visit or whenever you go. Next one, with a noun that has already been mentioned. So something that is already been mentioned earlier in a sentence, as we learned from the text, isn't it? That when you already utilized a common noun earlier in a sentence and it is being repeated for the second time, or it is in reference earlier. So we make use of the article the. As you see in the example, I bought a vase from the shop. The vase is beautiful. So what am I doing over here? In the entire dual sentence over here, there are two sentences in this entire sentence. I bought a vase from the shop. It is one clause, one complete clause. And the second clause in the entire sentence is the vase is beautiful. So here the word vase is preceded by the article the because we already had the word vase described earlier. I bought a vase. So you see here we are using a vase and not the vase because we are introducing the noun for the first time in the sentence in the first clause. Whereas in the same sentence, in the second clause, the article the is used because we are referring to the noun vase mentioned earlier in the sentence. Therefore, the vase is beautiful and not a vase is beautiful. Otherwise, it would be an incorrect sentence. Well, so the entire sentence contained two clauses, two complete clauses over here. Next one, when it is clear from the situation which people or thing we mean. So when you mean something that is particular or which people you mean, then instead of using the indefinite, we use the definite article. The teacher is in the class. Now naturally, when I am saying the sentence, the teacher is in the class, what do I mean by saying? Do I mean to say any teacher? No. When I am giving this information to someone, when I say it to myself or to somebody else, I am saying the teacher is in the class. Where is the teacher? Question. Well, the teacher is in the class. So I mean to say the person is very clear in my mind. So when it is clear from the situation, which people or things we mean when we mean to say about someone particular. Although I am not saying unique, but one particular that you are talking about in your speech, then we make use of the article the teacher is in the class. Next one, which such phrases that specify a person or object. The first house, we can see here we have got the ordinals. First house, the only baby, the same pen, the main purpose, the next person. So all these example phrases which specify a person or an object, we make use of the article the. Next one, the is used with the names of. We learnt about this also. Seas and oceans. A few example names have been given to you. The Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Holy books like the Quran, the Ramayana, the Bible, the Mahabharata, the Iliad, isn't it? Trains, ships and aeroplanes. So when we make use of the names of ships, trains, aeroplanes, we make use of the article. The Rajdhani Express, the Emirates. When you talk about rivers, the Ganga, the Yamuna, or any other river that you think of. Mountain ranges, remember, not individual mountains but mountain ranges, the Alps, the Himalayas, but you don't say the Mount Abu or the Mount Everest. Newspapers, the Times of India, one example given to you. Countries, if the name has a common noun, the United Kingdom, the United States of America. Two examples to recapitulate. Important buildings like the Taj Mahal, the Qutub Minar, and many more you can add to this. The whole families, when you're talking about the entire family that is with their surnames, the Guptas, meaning all the Guptas, all the members of the Gupta family, the Kapoors, the Sharmas, and so on. So the whole families, when you want to name with their surnames, we make use of the definite article the before the surname. The Guptas, the Kapoors, the Sharmas, so on. We use the with expressions like, so we have got some special expressions where the article the has to be used. On the other hand, so this is a special expression. Speak the truth, and you don't say speak a truth. So this is a unique, a special expression that you got to remember. To play the guitar, the more the merrier. Well, we learned the last one in our regular reading also, the more the. Well, so this was about the recapitulation of the definite articles. Let us now read about the omission of the definite articles from our text. So look into your text on page 4 where the topic starts. Omission of the article. The article is omitted. The first point, before common nouns used in the widest sense. So here we'll have to be a little more perspective to understand the entire thing. We'll have to open our broader sense to understand because it may confuse you. Child is the father of man. So what is being said over here? Before a common noun used in the widest sense. So when you are expressing something in the wider sense, in the generalized sense, in the broader perspective, we don't use the article the over here. So here, child is the father of man. So here you see we are not using the child or the man over here. Night is as beautiful as day. So in a broader sense, in a general sense, that night and day are compared to be equally beautiful. Therefore, you are not saying the night is as beautiful as the day. You are not pointing out to something. You are saying it as a general theme. It's night and day as a phenomena compared in the wider sense. Both are equally beautiful. Well, so we omit the definite article in this first rule before common nouns used in the widest sense. The next rule on page number 5. Before proper nouns, yes. Whenever we make use of proper nouns, we don't use the article. This is something very common that we have come across through our learning about articles since class 1, isn't it? Teachers may be teaching you about this, but still many times students make mistake. Well, before proper nouns, like you see, Mumbai is a big city and you never ever say the Mumbai, the Kolkata, the Madras, the Bhavnagar, no. It is incorrect to say so. But yes, we have an exceptional case, an exceptional rule for this that we will be reading. But as a general thing, Mumbai is a big city. Akbar was a wise king. Both Mumbai and Akbar are proper nouns. Akbar is the name of a person, Mumbai is the name of a city. So both being proper nouns, we don't make use of the definite article the before them. It is not preceded with the definite article. They are to be written without the article the. Omission is very, very important. But we have a note given to us. Have a careful look. When the definite article is used before a proper noun, when the definite article is used before a proper noun, it turns into a common noun. So what happens if this is done? Let us see how to utilize the definite article the before a proper noun. And how can it be used? Well, just now we learned that we don't use the definite article before a proper noun, and that stands true by itself. But when it is used, it turns to become a common noun. How? Let us see in this note given to us. He is the Newton of our day. So what is being mentioned over here? The Newton. Isaac Newton, isn't it? Proper noun, isn't it? Newton is a proper noun. But the article the has been applied. Why? Let us understand. That is as able a scientist as Newton was. So here we are not saying or talking about Newton itself or himself. Here we are taking the qualities of Newton as a scientist, as an able scientist. So we are talking about someone. Have a careful look. He is. We are pointing out to someone and saying he is. That particular person is. Say Amit is. As Amit is the Newton of our day. Today's time. Or anyone it could be. So no name has been given. He is the Newton of our day. In our today's time, he is as able as. He is as capable as. He has got all the potentials that Newton had. So when you are trying to take some proper noun or somebody's qualities, which is a proper noun, Newton over here in the given sentence, and applying it to someone, then we will be able to use the article the, but then it will become a common noun. It will no more remain a proper noun. So he is the Newton of our day, that is as able a scientist as Newton was. Similarly, two more examples you can see. He is the Shakespeare of India. So we are not actually talking about Shakespeare. We are not saying the Shakespeare was a great dramatist. No, that is not what we are saying. We learned about this earlier also, isn't it? Well, so he is the Shakespeare of India means we are comparing Shakespeare as a great dramatist to the current person whom we are making comparison with. That is as great a dramatist as Shakespeare was. Just like Shakespeare was a great dramatist, he is also that great as Shakespeare. The final example, Mumbai is the London of the East. So you see, the London, the East. Usually we don't use the article the before a proper noun London. It's a proper noun. But here we have used the word. It is a common noun right now. We can consider it to be a common noun. So Mumbai is the London of the East. That is a city as great as London. So we are comparing the greatness of Mumbai to the city of London, which is a proper noun. Well, next rule about the omission of the article the is before abstract nouns used in a general sense. So when abstract nouns are used in a general sense, in a very common way, we don't use the article. Let us see. Honesty is the best policy. So very well we can see the word honesty over here. Honesty is a abstract noun. It's a noun but an abstract noun. So whenever you make of the abstract noun in the general sense, in the common way, we avoid, we do not write, we omit the article the. We don't say the honesty is the best policy. No. We never write the honesty is the best policy. Simply we write honesty is the best policy. Next one. He loved wisdom and virtue. You see, two abstract nouns used in this sentence. Wisdom and virtue. But we are not writing he loved the wisdom and the virtue. No. Both wisdom and virtue are abstract nouns used in the general sense, in the common way. Therefore, we will be avoiding, we will be omitting the article the over here. Keep this in mind. Well, following we have a note. So whenever we have a note, we should be prepared for a kind of a contradictory point that we've already read. So here we have an exceptional case about the use of the abstract noun. Let us see what is it about. When an abstract noun is qualified by an adjective phrase or adjective clause. Three things: adjective phrase and adjective clause. Now these three things should be very clear to you. What is an adjective? A word describing a noun is called an adjective. An adjective phrase, a set of word which contains an adjective inside it. It's an adjective phrase. A phrase beginning with an adjective. Whereas an adjective clause, we learned about this also earlier. Then it can take the article the. So this is just the exceptional rule to what we understood about before abstract nouns used in the general sense. So when abstract nouns are used in the general sense, don't apply the article the. It is omitted, it is removed, but as an exception, when the abstract noun is qualified means over here associated with, accompanied with, it comes along with, it is in continuation with or precedence with the adjective phrase or adjective clause. Let us understand with the example. The bravery of the Rajputs is well known. Have a very careful look over here. The bravery of the Rajputs is well known. You will find the word bravery over here, which is an abstract noun. But before the word bravery, the article the is written. It is preceded with the article the. Why? Let us see. The bravery of the Rajputs. Now have a careful look at these set of words. Of the Rajputs. What do you find over here? So here the word of the Rajput is a phrase, isn't it? Of the Rajput is the phrase over here, describing the bravery of the person, of the Rajputs, of the Rajput community people. Therefore, the bravery of the Rajputs is well known. So when a phrase, an adjective or an adjective clause is accompanied or is qualified with that abstract noun. So here the word bravery is qualified along with this. Then the article the will be applied. So be very sure, directly you will not be able to write the article the before the word bravery. Bravery. The wisdom. See, once again we have the word wisdom. Unlike the previous example sentence, he loved wisdom and virtue. We never said he loved the wisdom and the virtue. No. But here we are using the article the before it. The wisdom which he showed was praiseworthy. So you see we have the word which he showed, pointing to that particular wisdom which he showed. So here we have a set of word which is qualifying the abstract noun wisdom. We have a set of words which he showed was praiseworthy as an adjective clause over here. You can see it's an adjective clause. We learned about subordinate and coordinate clause, isn't it? Dependent clause and independent clause. So an adjective clause begins with the subordinating conjunction. So here we have the word which he showed was praiseworthy, an adjective clause. So pointing out to the word wisdom. Therefore the article the has been used before it. Finally the last one. The virtue of this machine lies in its simplicity. The virtue, we have used the article the before the word virtue, unlike the previous example sentence. The virtue of this machine lies in its simplicity. Again we have the phrase over here. Of this machine lies in its simplicity. So whenever you have an adjective phrase or an adjective clause to accompany, to qualify the abstract noun, the article the will be used. Otherwise it will be omitted. So I hope the concept is clear to you. The next one, before material noun. So when you make use of a material noun in a sentence, when using the material noun in a sentence, we do not use the article, the definite article the before it. Example, gold is a precious metal. So we are talking about the material, the substance, isn't it, with which ornaments are made. So gold is a precious metal. We are not saying the gold is a precious metal. No, it would be incorrect to say. Well, we have an exception to this as well. We will be reading in a while. Plastic is a synthetic material. So once again, gold, plastic, both are substances, both are materials. So when you talk about any material, be it be gold, plastic, cotton, So when you're talking about any material, we don't use the article the. Cotton is a soft fiber, and I will not say the cotton is a soft fiber. No. But we can say, see, following we have an exceptional case, an exceptional rule to what we just learned. The gold that I bought is not of pure quality. Here we have an exceptional case. So what is being told in this sentence over here? The gold. Have a careful look. We are using the article the before the word gold because we are not intending or we are not meaning to say over here. Our intention is not to say the gold substance. We mean to say the gold ornament or the content gold that we bought yesterday is not of pure quality. Therefore, the gold that I bought is not of pure quality. Well, next example with the word plastic. The plastic used to make plates is of the best quality. So, plastic as a common noun, not as a material over here. The plastic that is used is of good quality. In this case, we will be able to use the definite article the plastic rather than avoiding it. So I hope this is clear to you. When to use the article the before material noun and when not to use the article the before material noun. Well, the next rule for not using the article the or omitting the article the is before titles used before proper nouns. So when we make use of titles used before proper nouns, when you want to say somebody's name and it is preceded with a title, as you can see in the example, King George. So King is a title given to the name, the proper name George. George is the particular, but the word King is applied. King, Queen, Master or such words. So King George VI, and you don't say the King George VI. So it is avoided, it is omitted. We don't make use of the article the before the word king, which is a title, followed by the proper noun George. So that's the rule. Before titles used before proper nouns. So make the content very clear in your mind. What is it about? King George VI, Lord Wellington. See the word Lord, again a title being given, felicitated to someone, a mark of respect, a respectable word. Professor Ghosh. So professor, again title given to a proper noun. So we have the word professor, a title, followed by the proper noun Ghosh. But we can't write the Professor Ghosh, the Lord Wellington. No, it would be incorrect. Just like we cannot write the King George VI. So the rule is very clear. The article the, definite article the is omitted, is not written before this particular rule, that is while writing the title followed by a proper noun. It is not preceded with the article the. Similarly, Saint Paul, saint is also a title, isn't it? In Christians, the word saint is given. Saint means sadhu. So saint. Saint Paul. Paul is the name, proper noun. So before the word Paul we had the title saint, and therefore before this we will not have the article the. We can't say the Saint Paul. It would be incorrect using this way. So I hope the point is very clear, though it's very simple to understand. Next rule we have of the omission of the article the before the names of places and markets. There are many shops in Connaught Place, and I don't say the Connaught Place. Now, why didn't we write the article the over here before the names of places and markets? A simple thing to understand. Whenever you make use of the names of places or markets, we don't use the article the. It's a rule that you need to accept and understand. There are many shops in Connaught Place and not the. Chandni Chowk is Delhi's oldest market. So once again we are not using the article the. We are not saying the Chandni Chowk over here. Chandni Chowk is a name of a place, name of a market. So we are not using the article the before places, names of places or names of markets. Keep this in mind and remember this. Simple rule to understand. Next rule, before the names of meals, the meals that we eat, the food that we eat at different times, isn't it? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. When you make use of these words, we don't use the article the definite article the. As in the example you can see, breakfast is at 8 o'clock. But I don't say the breakfast is at 8 o'clock. It means breakfast will be served at 8 o'clock. But I shouldn't be saying, I must be avoiding, I should be omitting the article the over here. The breakfast is at 8 o'clock is incorrect, completely incorrect to say. Breakfast is at 8 o'clock is okay. When do you have lunch? A question, interrogative sentence, I'm asking a question. But I shouldn't be asking when do you have the lunch. Applying the article the over here, incorrect. I shouldn't be applying over here. So not the lunch, in the bracket everywhere it's been given to you for your better understanding. Have you had the dinner? No. Have you had the dinner yet? We don't say like this. Not the dinner. Simply we say, have you had dinner yet? Question being asked. I had dinner. And I don't say I had the dinner. I should not be saying so. So, before the names of meals, we omit the article the, we don't use the article the. This is very clear too. Before the names of games, whenever you make use of the names of different games in speech, in writing, in making use of them, we don't write the article the. As in the example, I play football, I play hockey, she plays rugby, Sumit plays cricket, but nowhere we are going to write the article the. The football, the hockey, the cricket, the tennis, no. So in the bracket it's clear given to you, the hockey, the cricket, the tennis will not be written. Not is given to you means not to use the article the. So I play football, I play hockey, I play cricket, I play tennis, or any such game that you play will not be having the article the before it. I hope this simple thing is also well clear to you. On page number 6, she plays badminton. So further an elaboration has been given with the help of sentence. She plays badminton, volleyball and football, and not the badminton, the volleyball and the football. It would be completely incorrect to use the article the before the names of games. We sometimes play chess and cards, and you don't say the chess and the cards. It would be incorrect to say so. Well, the next rule about the omission of the article before the names of languages. So when we make use of the languages, English, Hindi, Gujarati, Sanskrit, when we make use of these words to speak out them or to say them, we don't use the article the. The people of France speak French, clearly given to you in the bracket, and not the French. So if someone can speak the French, no, we don't say the French, but yes, the French language. We learnt about this earlier, isn't it? People of France speak the French language, because here, if I am using the article the before the word French language, so here language is the noun preceded by the word French, which is describing the language. Then I will be able to use the article the. Well, the people of France speak French and not the French. So we don't use the article the before the names of languages. But yes, if that name of the language is used to describe a common noun, as I did in the sentence, the people of France speak the French language. So here I am not saying simply the French. I am saying the French language. So language is the noun which is using the article the, having the adjective French describing that language. So I hope this is very clear to you. English is spoken in England and not the English. Here directly we are using the word English as a name of the language, English. English is spoken in England. Here English word, the word English is playing the role of a proper noun, the name of a language. Therefore the article the will not be written before it, and we will never say the English is spoken in England. Well, the next usage where the article the is omitted in certain expressions like, well, this is very common thing that we use in our day-to-day speech, so be attentive. In certain expressions like all day and all night, isn't it? We make use of these words quite frequently in our speech, all day and all night. Yesterday I played all day. Will I say yesterday I played the all day? No. I cannot say the all day or the all night. Well, let us see what are the example sentences given to us. He works hard all day and not the all day. Using the article the before it will make it completely absurd and weird. He works hard the all day or all the day? No. We can't say all the day. We will be saying he works hard all day is sufficient, is enough, is the correct usage after omitting the article the, and we should not be applied. Applying the article the will make it incorrect. So remember this. The nurse attended to the patient all night, and you will not say all the night. Saying all the night will make it incorrect. Well, but we have a little exception over here, kind of a contradictory rule. But we say in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon. So you say when we took the words day and night, we did not use it. But yes, the day, which can be further classified as morning, further classified as evening, further classified as afternoon. Isn't it? All these terms, morning, evening and afternoon, is the subtype of the word day. So when you express these words, we will definitely be able to use the article. So remember this, when not to use and when to use. We say in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon. He woke up early in the morning. He went to play cricket in the evening. So in the evening, and we had a high meal in the afternoon, a delicious meal in the afternoon. So I have used all the three words, the morning, the evening and the afternoon, in three different sentences for your assistance. The next rule about omitting the definite article. In certain phrases consisting of a noun as the object of the verb. Now make this point very clear even before you read the example sentences. Consisting of a noun as the object of the verb. Object of the verb. Have a look, careful look. We leave home at 7 o'clock. So we have a phrase over here. What is the phrase over here? At 7 o'clock. So we leave home at 7 o'clock. Here you see the word at 7 o'clock is consisting of the noun as the object of the verb. So when an object of the verb has been used, we omit the article the. We do not write the article the. We leave home at 7 o'clock and not at the 7 o'clock. No, it would be incorrect to say so. Her clothes caught fire. She sent word that she was coming. Give ear to what your teacher says. He took offense at my remark. And the final example, he lost heart very soon. All are examples where you will find a phrase consisting of the object of a verb, and therefore the definite article the is omitted, it is not there, it is missing over there, which you are not supposed to write. Well, we have got some other common phrases when we are talking about already phrases about talking about. So where the article the is not to be used, definitely it is not to be used, surely it is not to be used. Quite a few words which you will have to remember. Especially you will have to remember these things, because any of these words can be utilized as a part of the test or the sentences, extra sentences, isn't it? So read this very very carefully. To cast anchor, to bring word, to leave school, to set sail. In none of these phrases you will find the article the, and it is not to be used. You are not going to say to cast the anchor, to bring the word, or to leave the school. No, it is incorrect to say so. So make sure that this is used as it is without the article the. That is what you are learning. To set sail, to go to school, to go to prison, to go by car, taxi, train, ship, plane, whatever. To go by car, go by taxi. Not to say go by the car, the train, the ship would be incorrect. To go to church, to go by air, isn't it? People travel by air, by road, by rail. To go by air, road, rail, sea, etc. To go home, to go to work are some very commonly used phrases in day-to-day speech, where you should remember not to use the article the while making use of these phrases. Utmost important, because these are so common that we make it in our day-to-day speech. Therefore, we must remember this. But we always say, now see, once again we have a little exception to the rule that we have just learnt about phrases where the article the can be utilized. What is it? to go to the office, to go to the cinema, the theater. This is how we will be able to use the article the. To go to office, but to go to the office. To go to school, we learned about to go to prison, but we say to go to the office, go to the cinema. Now you must have observed that the preposition to is missing over here, isn't it? Where if you compare the two set of phrases given to you, in the previous set of phrases you found it began with the preposition to cast anchor, to bring word, to leave school, to set sail, isn't it? All these phrases were beginning with the preposition to. They were prepositional phrases. Whereas you see over here in the exception part, but we always say go to the office. It's a command being given. Go to the office, go to the cinema, theater, isn't it? Go to the bed. So we will be able to use the article the in such situations. So I hope the comparison is very clear to you. How to avoid, how to omit the article, or where to omit the article and where to utilize the article in certain phrases. Finally, in certain phrases consisting of a preposition followed by a noun. Now this is a very unique combination that one must remember. Very, very important to remember. What is being told to us? In certain phrases consisting. So what is the phrase consisting of? Well, you learnt about this in the earlier class also. Preposition followed by a noun. It means any preposition which will have the next word which is a noun. As you see, by hand, isn't it? I ground, that is to grind something. I ground the seeds by the hand. No, I say I ground the seeds, I made it into powder, turned into by hand. So by is a preposition and immediate next word is hand, which is a noun. Therefore by hand, and you never ever say by the hand. Similarly, there is a big list of words, a list of phrases where you find a preposition followed by a noun. So whenever you have a preposition followed by a noun, we avoid, we don't write, we omit the definite article the. Let us quickly go through this. By land, by sea, by water, by river, by steamer, by rail, by bus, by aeroplane, by train, by night, by day, on foot. See, now the preposition changed. All we had the words with the word by. Now we have a few with the word on. On followed by the noun. So on foot. On is the preposition, foot is the noun. On sail, on horseback, on deck, at fault. Now again we have a different preposition over here. First we had with the in, then we have with the on. Again we have the next set over here. So all these phrases are having a preposition followed by a noun where the definite article the is not to be used. So make sure you don't make any errors over here. At fault, who is at fault? And I don't say who is at the fault. Okay? Out of the two, who is at fault? If I ask a question. So at fault. At ease, in bed. Again we have the word in bed, in trouble, at school, at college, in jest, in turn, at tea, at dinner, at home, at dawn, at daybreak, at sunrise, at noon, at sunset, at midnight, at 9 o'clock, at sight, on demand, at interest, by name, underground, above. So you see, again we have a new preposition to be understood over here. Underground, above ground. We are not saying underground, underground, above ground, on earth. So there are so many different phrases beginning with a preposition followed by a noun. Simple thing to remember is they will never carry, they will never be preceded or succeeded by the definite article the. This is something that you need to remember. So these were the different rules which we acknowledged ourselves with about the omission, about the removal of the definite article the, where definite article the is not to be used at any given point of time. Well, so I hope the topic about the definite article, the omission of definite article is very clear to you. So altogether we learned about the indefinite articles and the definite articles in these 3 lectures. Well, after an elaborative understanding about this topic, let us look into the second exercise given to us in our text on page 7. Earlier in the last lecture we went through exercise A where we had to insert the indefinite articles. We have an exercise given to us, insert a and or the. So we will be performing the exercise which requires either the indefinite or the definite articles as per our proper understanding and discretion and abiding by the rules. So have the book in your hand and we will soon write the answers to this one. First one, we see moon at night. Now, what happens over here when we see this? We see moon at night. Now, very well we can observe the sentence over here. We have the word moon and we learned as per the rule something that is only one of its kind or just one of it, isn't it? Something that is only one of it. We require a definite article and therefore the sentence given to us has an error inside it. Definitely. The article the is missing, the definite article is not mentioned. So, we will have to rewrite the sentence. Note this down in your box. We see moon at night is the question. We see the moon at night. Note it down. I will dictate the answers to you. Note it down. Make use of a pencil. When you are writing the answers, advisable to use a pencil rather than using a pen, because in case there is an error you can easily erase it and rewrite it. So, we see the moon at night. The next sentence, Kitty put ice cube in her lemonade. Well, what should we be writing over here? We should be writing Kitty put an ice cube. Now, if you carefully observe the word ice cube, the word ice begins with the letter I or vowel, and again it is singular countable noun. Therefore, we will have to use the article, the indefinite article "an" over here, isn't it? Kitty put an ice cube in her lemonade, and that is how we will rectify the sentence and rewrite it. So take time and write it down. Kitty put an ice cube in her lemonade. The next one. Book you want is not in library. Well, as I am reading this, it's sounding very weird to me, isn't it? Book you want. Now, it's completely absurd. It does not make sense, book you want. I am trying to say one particular book. So see, I am very clear. So when you are clear with something, you make use of the definite article the book you want, the particular book that you are looking for, isn't it? Is not in the library. So the book, so we will apply the article the before the word book and the word book will become into the lower case now. The capital will change into the lower case. The book you want is not in the library because you are looking in a particular library, you are looking in a particular place, searching for that in the shelves over there. Therefore, we require two definite articles. One written before the word book and one written before the word library. Therefore, the book you want is not in the library. Note it down carefully. Fourth one, this is peacock. Peacock has colorful feathers. How senseless it is, isn't it? We are not able to find sense in it. It is not making sense. It is not sounding sensible. Therefore, to make it sensible, we require the articles. So, the word peacock is repeated twice. We have two clauses over here. So, try to recall the rule that when we mentioned a noun for the first time, in the second sentence, we will be able to use the definite article. So, a similar thing is going to happen over here. This is a peacock. You are pointing out to something and saying to a bird, this is a peacock. The peacock has colorful feathers. You see, the rule that we learned is now applied over here. That we use the indefinite article a or an to introduce something for the first time. And in the second clause, when we already mentioned about it, we write the article the. Therefore, two articles were used over here. This is a peacock, followed by the peacock has colorful feathers. So note it down carefully, a peacock and the peacock. Fifth one, may I have an envelope? May I have envelope? I will put my letter in envelope. So you see, may I have envelope? Again, it is not sounding correct. And the word envelope has been utilized twice over here in the entire sentence in these two clauses over here. Two independent clauses, we have got the word envelope two times. So, may I have an envelope? Now, why am I using? Because I am introducing the word envelope for the first time out of the two clauses. Therefore, I require an indefinite article. But out of the two, which one to use? A or an? And. Why should I use the word an? Because the word envelope begins with a vowel letter, a vowel sounding word. Therefore, I require an. May I have an envelope? I will put my letter in the envelope. So this time I am using the article the envelope in the second clause, in the fifth sentence over there. The envelope. I hope the thing is very clear to you. The rule is very clear to you. So as you write, try to recall the rule as and when possible. Sixth one. Peter bought new bike. Bike is red and black. Peter bought a new bike. So once again we have the word bike being repeated twice. Same rule being applied over here. Peter bought a new bike. A singular countable noun mentioned for the first time in a sentence. So we require the indefinite article a or an. So here it is a because the word bike is a singular countable noun and it is preceded with the word new, isn't it? And the word new is also beginning with the letter n, a consonant and a consonant sound. Therefore, I require the article a over here. Peter bought a new bike. Second clause, the bike is red and black because we are describing the same bike which is mentioned earlier in the sentence. Well, so it is very clear to you now. Number 7, there is orchard nearby. Orchard has many apples. Well, articles are missing. Very well, you will be able to locate and identify what is the mistake over here, the error. There is an orchard nearby. Orchard is a fruit farm. A farm where fruits are grown is called an orchard. So there is an orchard nearby. So we are applying the word an over here. Word orchard begins with the letter O, a vowel letter and a vowel sounding word. So there is an orchard nearby. The word orchard is being repeated in the second clause in the seventh sentence. Therefore, this time we will not be using a or an. What are we going to use? Yes, your answer is right. The orchard, because we have already referred to the article the earlier. Next, Ganges is holy river. So we are not going to say this. Ganges is the name of a particular river, isn't it? One of its kind. Well, the Ganges is a holy river. Singular countable noun, word describing the river. A holy river. So the Ganges is a holy river should be the answer. Note it down. 9th one. Can I have piece of cake? Question being asked. Cake is very tasty. Well, there are errors inside it. Can I have a piece of cake? Remember the phrase is a piece of, a lot of, isn't it? So we have to write over here, can I have a piece of cake? Directly you can't say can I have piece of cake. The article A is missing before the word piece. Can I have a piece of cake? The cake is very tasty. So you already tasted a little maybe and it is very tasty, so you are wanting a whole piece. The cake is very tasty because the word cake has been mentioned earlier in the first clause of the sentence. The last one, Preeti bought new raincoat. Raincoat is transparent. Preeti bought a new raincoat. Same rule as we had over here for the new bike. A new raincoat. We are describing the raincoat, a singular countable noun with an indefinite article, the word new beginning with consonant letters. So Preeti bought a new raincoat. Again the word raincoat is repeated in the second clause, therefore we are going to use the article the. The raincoat is transparent. So I hope the understanding of this exercise is now clear to you and you must have written down all the answers required. Well, on page number 8 you have the exercise given to you. Fill in the blanks with a, an or the and put a cross mark where no article is required. So sometimes it happens that an article is not required. It is an unnecessary space given to us. So you have these 10 sentences with you. This is going to be a part of your homework. Without fail, do this homework. Write down the answers to these 10 sentences and submit it after the lecture. Well, alternatively you have the let's talk given to you where you find Madhu and Mala having a conversation. I will quickly lead you and guide you through this conversation where you will find Madhu and Mala using the proper articles in their speech, in their conversation. Madhu meets Mala on her way home. Read these dialogues aloud and practice the conversation. Well, we should be doing this in the classroom, but unfortunately we can't do it, so it has to be done in a or distant way. Madhu, hi Mala, what is that in your hand? Well, to this Mala replies, hi Madhu, I have a pair of glasses. You see, acknowledge the things, a pair of glasses. She is using the article a pair of. Isn't this the phrase, a pair of glasses? She's not saying I have a glasses. No, you can't say a glasses. You'll have to apply the phrase a pair of in order to use the article a before the noun glasses over there. Did you visit a doctor before you got them? Yes, of course. I visited the eye specialist on the next street. So, in her conversation, in her answer, she is using the definite article the next street. She is pointing out to something particular. It's very clear. Oh, I know him. He is a kind doctor. I had been to him when I had the eye allergy that bothered me terribly. I remember that. It was a bad case of allergy, wasn't it? So, both the girls are having dialogues alternatively. Madhu says, yes, it was. Why do you need glasses though? To this, the answer is being, I have been finding it difficult to read the blackboard. So, the blackboard from which the girl must be reading from. Therefore, a particular blackboard. Therefore, the article the is mentioned before it. The final words, oh, good that you got the glasses then. The one she already has on her head or on her eyes. So, the glasses. Because the word glasses have already been mentioned earlier in the discussion, isn't it? So, a pair of glasses was mentioned. And this time, we are pointing out to that particular glasses about which we have discussed. Therefore, oh, good that you got the glasses. So, this was a simple conversation containing the different articles A and M. Finally, on page 10, we have got the common error articles. Quickly, we will go through this. We have the set of incorrect to the correct given to us. This recipe asks for dozen eggs. Simple to understand that when I am using the word dozen, numeral accountable thing over here, I need to use the indefinite article a dozen, isn't it? That is what we learned. So, rectified sentence is, this recipe asks for a dozen eggs and not just dozen eggs. Next one, can I have a paper? Well, paper, material, last time also we discussed in the regular lectures. A paper cannot, yes, I can say a piece of paper, a sheet of paper, but I cannot directly say a paper. So, can I have a piece of paper? Is the correct one. The injured were taken to an hospital. Well, why should I be writing an hospital? Hospital begins with the letter H. It is a consonant. So, the injured were taken to a hospital, and hospital is absolutely incorrect. A unicorn is an imaginary creature. Unicorn. U, the letter U is vowel, but the pronunciation, the sound that is being produced is a consonant sound. Y-U or Y-O-O-U, as explained to you earlier. So, a unicorn is an imaginary creature of the unicorn. I hope the word unicorn is clear to you. An imaginary animal having a horn on its head. I want a scissors. Now see what is being said. A scissors? No. I want a pair of scissors. We learned earlier also. A scissor has got two parts. Therefore, we say a pair of scissors. You don't say a scissors. Well, Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on moon. Again, the sentence has errors. Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon. The article the needs to be written before the word moon because moon is one of it. Just unique, isn't it? There is no second of it. So these were some common errors in the article that we should not be making. So I hope the explanation was apt for you. You must have understood well about this, the article that I tried to explain, and you enjoyed the chapter. See you soon in the upcoming lecture with the new chapter. Till then, take care. Have a nice day and goodbye.